It's about go time, everybody. Hopefully you're getting your last bologna burger, fries, or drink from the concession stands here because it's about time for the Low Country 99 for the Smart Modified Tour presented by Pace-O-Matic. I'm Bob Dillner, excited to be with you here today at Florence Motor Speedway. You see some of the coolest looking race cars in the world coming to the front stretch right now to line up in front of you. The best fans in the country coming out here today. A beautiful day in this part of the country, Timmonsville, South Carolina. Temperatures in the high 70-degree range. We've moved up the modifieds just a little bit here today to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to see this race. These cars live by the grace of God and 600 horsepower, and we have some of the best names in the business in modified racing here today. People like the driver that just pulled to the inside of the third row. Take a look at that black and white #1 machine. That guy is a dominator at Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The #1, the two-time Smart Modified champion, Burt Myers, looking for his first victory in several years here on this tour. Pulling to his outside, that #14, good-looking Troyer race car for Bobby Meismer Jr. out of Concord, North Carolina. Getting texts from all over the country. We want to know where you are watching today's race from. If you're not here at the racetrack, this is live on Flow Racing. Make sure you use @SmartModifieds_ on Twitter. Send us the pictures of where you are watching today's race from. Make sure you tag myself as well. I'm blessed to be here. Eric Brennan has moved over to the Cars Tour, so I am now coming in and calling the races for the Smart Modified Tour. I'm Bob Dillner, and I have grown up, my whole family has, around modifieds. Back in the old days at Ice Speedway in New York, Stafford, Riverside Park, Thompson, you name it. And then coming south in '97 and being part of the Smart Series back then. And then the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour while it was in existence. And now Chris Williams and his staff has brought the modifieds back to life in the South. And this is the 5th time the Smart Tour is visiting this famous racetrack here in Florence County, South Carolina. Great, impressive field of 24 cars here today. 600 horsepower, 15-inch tires, low to the ground. There's a reason why guys like Bobby Labonte, Joey Coulter, Ryan Newman are joining some of the toughest modified competitors in the country here today. So thank you so much for sending in your social. Make sure you keep those pictures. We want to blow up Flow Racing's Twitter here today. We want to see if you're watching from the garage, the shop, the kitchen, the living room, the grocery store. Hopefully not while you're driving down the road. But we want to see those pictures. So @Flow Racing, @SmartMods_, @Bob Dillner with 2 L's. Make sure you tag us and show us some love on social media if you love what we're doing with Flow Racing, with the Smart Modifieds, and a whole lot more. And folks, if you're up north, I'm sorry. It's beautiful here today. And that's why we're getting started here, the Low Country 99. It'll be 99 laps. There will be the Bell Helmets Stage 1 at the conclusion of 30 laps here today. And then the strategy sets in. One tire in the pits. When will people stop to get that tire? That's a big question, and it's a hot day. As Burt Myers told me earlier today, this racetrack is greasy, not greasy, greasy. Use the Z. It's very slippery, and we're going to see a lot of that here today, even with these 15-inch wide tires. All the cars now pulling off of pit road. We will assemble on the front stretch and get kick-started just momentarily. Thank you so much for being here, everybody, at Florence Motor Speedway. We are getting some people tuning in from all over the country. Up in New Jersey, they call him Showtime, Jimmy Blewett, tuning into this race here today. From upstate New York, the Canfield family, Daryl and Dwayne, tuning into this race here today. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's 99-lap race for the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Starting 24th on the grid. He's competed in the NASCAR Truck Series out of Coram, New York. It's the 01 of Brian Weber. And folks, make sure we have some applause for all of these drivers as they're getting ready to do battle for 99 laps here today. Starting 23rd in the 21 NC, they call him Cowboy, Dwight Sauls. Starting 22nd in the number 22 out of Advanced, North Carolina, it's Jason Tutterow in the Carolina Drilling Car. And then starting 21st in the 07, his family famous around Bowman Gray Stadium. The real deal, the rookie, Riley Neal in the 07. Starting 20th from High Point, North Carolina, a former Pro Cup champion in the Pro Cup South Series. It's the number 11 of Michael Rich. Starting 19th out of Miami Springs, Florida, a former winner of the NASCAR Truck Series and a former winner in modifieds here at this racetrack. A bad qualifying effort here today puts him 19th on the starting grid. It's the 02 of Joey Coulter. Starting 18th, the number 45 out of Burlington, North Carolina, it's Gary Young Jr. Good looking black number 07 VA today. That's a famous number in modified racing. Out of Burlington, North Carolina, the 45 of Gary Young Jr. And to his right in front of him, it's Dennis Holdren in the 07. 16th on the grid here today in the Low Country 99. He's a Daytona 500 winner, an SRX winner last year, and a winner on the Smart Modifieds at North Wilkesboro 1 year ago. In the number 39, the Pace-O-Matic car for Ryan Newman. Starting 15th, the Flying Floridian, the 55 of Jeremy Gerstner. Starting 14th, out of Lexington, North Carolina, the number 21 car. Look for him to climb through the field here today. It's Jimmy Wallace. Starting lucky number 13 in the number 4 machine. He's won more than 30 times in a modified at Bowman Gray Stadium. One of the famous Myers family members, Jason Myers. We have 2 Dash standouts. Yes, the old NASCAR Dash Series, the ISCAR Dash Series, and winners in all of them. In the Hillbilly Racing number 79, starting 12th here today, it's Zach Brewer. Starting 11th, 1 win to his credit last year, and this is a potent car that he is racing here today. In the number 24, starting 11th, it's Jonathan Brown. Starting 10th, a rookie in today's starting lineup in a very famous race car in the red, number 23, just 14 years old, for Carson Lofton. Starting on the inside of that 5th row, the Rocket with a brand new ride this year, and he is going for the Smart Modified Tour Championship. The number 25 of Tim Brown. Starting 8th, 8 wins in his Smart Modified Tour career. His son starts 10th. Dad starts 8th here today. The number 15 of Brian Lofton. Starting 7th here today. He finished 2nd 1 year ago, a late race pit stop. Pit strategy is premium at Florence Speedway. Starting in the number 2 machine, who will start 7th here today, Brandon Ward. Starting 6th out of Concord, North Carolina. His home track was Concord Speedway. He has 63 wins at that racetrack in various divisions, the 3rd all-time winningest driver at that racetrack. In car number 14, he will start 6th here today, Bobby Meismer Jr. Starting 5th, he's the ace, and he is dominant at Bowman Gray Stadium. A little extracurricular activity down there in the infield here today, as you see on the Flow Racing cameras. But there is the black and white #1 machine for Burt Myers. He will start 5th. The top 2 rows look like this. He formerly hailed from New England, now in North Carolina. The number 77 in a beautiful race car, the Curb Records machine for Gary Putnam. To his inside, he just came off of 4 straight victories at New Smyrna Speedway during Florida Speed Weeks, and he's a winner of this race 1 year ago. In the Hirschman Speed number 60, it is big money Matt Hirschman. And the front row looks like this. The gentleman that won here 2 years ago in the Tommy Baldwin Racing famous number 7 NY out of Kentucky, it's Caleb Hetty. And on the pole for this one, and the Pace-O-Matic Cookout Coca-Cola number 18, the former NASCAR Cup Series champion, Bobby Labonte. Folks, give your 24 car field starting lineup a round of applause here today. These are the stars of the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. All right, folks, I want you to help me out with this one. We're going to count down from 3 to fire engines here today to live by the grace of God in 600 horsepower. That's right, the Mighty Modifieds to start these engines. So on the count of 3, help me out, folks. 3, 2, 1. Drivers, start your engines. Listen to all that horsepower. This is the type of race car that I grew up with, have a love for. And I know if you've never seen a modified race and you're here at Florence Motor Speedway today, you will become a lover of modifieds as well. And we got to thank everybody from the Smart Modified Tour. JB, Chris Williams, all the officials have done such a lot of hard work over the winter to prepare this tour for this year. And a big special thanks to Pace-O-Matic for all they do for modified racing here in the South. The Autos by Nelson Pace vehicle is part of the Smart Modified Tour as well, and look at these machines. The front bumpers on these machines, they may be black, they may be orange, they may be chrome, but that's why we call them the chrome horns. Sometimes, especially near the end of these races, you will see people give the old chrome horn in order to move by. It's part of modified racing and has been forever. The excitement is starting to build here at Florence Motor Speedway. Jeff Bunton in the flag stand has been a major part of this series. He will throw the green flag here today. Great to see the families in attendance with us at Florence Motor Speedway. I see fans of all ages, little girls, little boys, in the grandstands here today, enjoying a beautiful day in Timmonsville, South Carolina, and watching some of the best racing that you can see anywhere. we have a special treat for everyone today. So folks, get up on your feet, get out of your seat as the Smart Stars salute you, the racing fans. The Mod Squad is here today, and the fans of Florence Motor Speedway love it. This is our salute to open wheels, to chrome horns, and 600 horsepower. The ground pounders, the Mod Squad. This is the Smart Modified Tour. We salute you, all the racing fans, for coming out supporting the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic as well as Florence Motor Speedway. Now, the nerves starting to settle in to some of these drivers. Some of them haven't raced since late last fall. Some of them graced the wheel of these cars at New Smyrna Speedway during the World Series of Asphalt Racing. Guys like Matt Hirschman in the number 60 machine, that black car, won 4 straight races in the championship down there. Caleb Hetty, who was on the outside of the front row, he was down there. He could only muster up a top 10 finish one time at New Smyrna Speedway. All right, folks, we're going green this time by 99 laps for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. It's Bobby Labonte and Caleb Hetty on the front row. So folks, by the grace of God and 600 horsepower, it's time to kick off the 2023 season for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic at Florence. Good start right there. Bobby Labonte with the lead. Caleb Hetty in second. Haulers in the infield. Here we have a battle for third. Maybe no more, though. Matt Hirschman, big money Matt in that black number 60, grabs the third spot over the 77 of Gary Putnam. Behind that, in the fifth spot, lurks the ace, Burt Myers. Burt Myers wants to get back to victory lane. It's been a while for him. He has not won in the last 3 seasons with the Smart Modified Tour. Behind that, the number 2 machine. Single file through the first 6 cars, and then beyond that, some crazy racing. Bobby Meismer Jr. in the 14, looking to the inside of Brian Lofton in that red and white race car. And behind that, man, look at it. It's a bottleneck right there. The 25 car of the Rocket Tim Brown. Jerry Hunt Superstores. Right now he's trying to battle, but you have to save tire here as well. There is Putnam in the 77. Burt Myers trying to move to his inside. This now is a battle for fourth early in this race. Here comes Myers on the inside. Smartly, the 77 of Putnam, who has been around the NASCAR Cup Series ranks for a long, long time, actually pulls over and lets Burt Myers go. Putnam knows he needs to save the tires. Only one tire in the pits for all of these teams. And the strategy is, when are you going to take that tire? That's a big question on the minds of all of these drivers. Do you charge hard now? Burt Myers is now looking to the inside of Matt Hirschman for third. This may be a battle right here for third, and it's pretty good, but they are stacked up about 9th, 10th on back. It's kind of crazy right now back there, 2 by 2. But Burt Myers trying to get track position here early in this one. 92 laps to go so far here in the low country, 99. Out front right now, Bobby Labonte all alone by about 5 car lengths over Caleb Hetty. And then it's this battle that we're watching right here. Matt Hirschman on the outside, Burt Myers in the CitraSafe racing machine in that number 1 going to his inside. Nobody better than Matt Hirschman. Jimmy Blewett said it best in Florida. He said he is the modern era Richie Evans. That was a direct quote from Jimmy Blewett. He is so good, but Burt Myers is hungry. He's eager to get back to victory lane. He wants another win here on the Smart Tour. He's an 8-time winner in this series and charging hard early in this one. Now approaching Caleb Heddy. And Caleb Heddy in that number 7 machine, besides Tommy Baldwin Racing, he's building up a resume himself here at Florence Motor Speedway. 2 years ago, he won. Last year, led 7 laps and finished second in this race. Caleb Heddy, I asked him here today, what is it about Florence Motor Speedway? He said he likes flat racetracks. This is not necessarily flat. Progressive banking from about 0 to 14 degrees. Burt Myers now to his inside. Burt Myers up to second. Pretty impressive so far in this one. Battle for 4th now as well. Matt Hirschman saying, okay, I'm going to just check up a little bit, let some cars go. Brian Lofton to his inside. Lofton now moves up to the 4th position. And here comes Jonathan Brown as well. Unique story on that 24 car. That car actually went to victory lane at Martinsville. Kevin Bono-Mannion built that car, sold it to the team in the offseason, and now Jonathan Brown has a potent ride this year with that number 24 car. Look at Zach Brewer in the Hillbilly Racing, number 79, former star of the NASCAR Dash Series, goes by Gary Putnam. And this is all a battle of strategy. Who's going to save their tires? Who wants that track position? You can look a little bit behind that right there. As you can see, the battle for the lead starting right now as well. Burt Myers is going for it here at Florence to the inside of Bobby Labonte. Myers trying to get to the lead. Bobby Labonte, 2 wins to his credit in the Smart Modified Tour, but he loses the lead to Burt Myers here with 84 to go. It's Myers, Bobby Labonte, and Caleb Heddy. That's the top 3, and they're pretty locked down there. Behind that, though, some great racing going on as well. Brian Lofton has moved up into the 4th position, but beyond that, little gap between Lofton and Matt Hirschman, who lurks back in 5th right now. 6th is the 24 of Jonathan Brown. 7th, Zach Brewer. 8th, Bobby Meismer Jr. in the 14 machine. 9th, Gary Putnam losing positions by the 2nd here, but saving his tires. Jimmy Wallace also involved. Carson Lofton in the 23 also. But look at this. Going around a lap car there. Bobby Labonte, they all stay 1, 2, and 3 in a row. Burt Myers setting a torrid pace here early on. Got a great vantage point here from our tower, and we see this battle up front between these top 2. But I continue to look a little bit further back, and it's 2x2 racing from about 8th on back. Incredible runs here for several of the drivers trying to move their way to the front of the field. 3 wide on the backstretch just momentarily, trying to bring you all of what's going on here, in addition to looking at this battle right here between Burt Myers and Bobby Labonte. .77 to go. More than 20 laps complete already in this one. Burt Myers, Bobby Labonte, and Caleb Heddy, the top 3. 4th is Brian Lofton, and 5th still is Matt Hirschman. Folks, if you like what you're seeing today from the Smart Modifieds, make sure you get on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, and let people know what you like about the Smart Modified Tour. Make sure you tag the series, Pace-O-Matic, myself, Bob Dillner. Show us where you're watching from here today. We want to see all sorts of pictures. The garage, the shop, hanging out with the family, the pets. We always love pets, for sure. But look at this bottleneck back here. There is Bobby Meismer Jr., and that is Ryan Newman. Newman started deep in the starting lineup here today, 16th overall, and right now he's trying to move his way through the field. Ryan Newman has now moved up to 10th place, so up 6 positions for Ryan Newman, who won at North Wilkesboro last year, also won on the SRX circuit up at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. You see that red 23 car? That is a 14-year-old. Carson Lofton. There is Jonathan Brown approaching Matt Hirschman. There we go, Jonathan Brown, John Boy, in that black-white number 24. Looked to the inside of Matt Hirschman, couldn't get him. Hirschman locking down 5th, trying to save those tires. There is Zach Brewer as well. Zach Brewer having a good run. Jimmy Wallace, I told you he'd be moving through the field in that black and silver number 21. And then Carson Lofton, we got a spin coming off the corner. Bobby Meismer Jr. with trouble. Meismer spun that Z-Max car off of turn number 4. And that will bring out the caution. And that will complete Bell Helmets segment number 1, stage number 1 for the Smart Modified Tour presented by Pace-O-Matic. Here's the rundown of what we see so far. You can see the ticker on the top side of your screen. Burt Myers with a great run so far. He leads after taking the lead from Bobby Labonte. Caleb Heddy is 3rd right now. 4th is Brian Lofton. 5th is Matt Hirschman. The 24 of Jonathan Brown is currently 6th. The 79 of Zach Brewer, 7th. 8th is Jimmy Wallace, the rookie. Carson Lofton, potent ride in that red number 23, 14 years old. He is 9th. And Ryan Newman has moved up from 16th all the way to 10th. I want to say a big thank you to Pace-O-Matic. Since 2000, Pace-O-Matic has assembled an incredibly talented team from top to bottom, built on the grounds of integrity, innovation, and compliance, all of which aligns perfectly with the world of motorsports. As an entertainment company that develops gaming software that players love to play, Pace-O-Matic is all about giving back to local communities, small businesses, and now motorsports. To learn more about their history, business, and charitable works and products, check out their social media outlets or visit their website at paceomatic.com. That's Pace-O-Matic, proud supporter of grassroots initiatives and proud presenting sponsor of the Smart Modified Tour. We also mentioned that this is the conclusion of Stage 1 presented by Bell Helmets, and some interesting strategy already playing out. Several cars coming to pit road. Brandon Ward in the number 2, Jimmy Wallace in the 21, Gary Putnam in the 77, Dennis Holdren in the 07. There's Bobby Meismer, who spun off of turn number 4. Several guys coming in. I don't know if I see any tire changes just yet, but measuring stagger and making some adjustments to these cars here today at Florence. That 14 car that we just saw, an interesting story, Bobby Meismer. There is Jeremy Gerstner. Jeremy Gerstner, a modified, dedicated guy. He was from Florida originally, comes up here and runs a bunch with the Smart Modified Tour, and he's been running modifieds in this area for a very long time. A winner in the South in modified competition. There is Gary Putnam. Gary Putnam started out as the crew chief for Charlie Pastriak in New England. He worked with the Pastriak family for a long time, then came south, Has worked in the NASCAR Cup Series for a very long time, but also wheels his own modified with the colors of Charlie Pasternak back in the day in New England. Jason Tutterow, one of the cars a lap down early in this one. 30 laps complete of 99. During this caution period, we bring in Chris Williams, the series director for the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. 30 laps down 2 until we go back green flag racing. But what do you think?
No, I like what I've seen so far. I mean, this is a unique racetrack, and Bert decided he wanted to go for that stage win. Put a couple bucks in his pocket. I still think that the 18, the 7, the 15, and the 60s is kind of waiting for a little bit. I think Bobby was trying to set the pace there as fast as he wanted to run, and Bert just wanted to run a little bit faster. But a lot of competition in the back because some of those guys are trying to keep up, where some of them's trying to save a little bit of tire left. So it's going to be interesting to see these first 15 to 20 laps after we go back to green here and see what they do. And
it's difficult because it's hot here today. This track, pretty slippery. And a lot of guys saying they're having difficulty getting that traction and saving those tires.
Yeah, so before the race, I went around and talked to a lot of different drivers, and last year was 32 degrees and had a little bit more grip, wasn't as slick, where today they were really sideways. I know I talked to Coulter and a bunch of others, and they said the car was jumping out from under them. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how hard they push it till lap 50, because it'll be a whole different race from lap 55 to 99.
Real quickly, how excited are you about this tour this year?
I'm excited not only for these guys here that support us and where it's came in the last 2.5 years. I really appreciate the guys giving the effort to show up, especially in a track that's one of the longest ones that we go to away from their kind of home base. We have Hirschman here, we have Gershner and a bunch of others coming from a long ways away. But I'm very excited of the car count and, the energy and especially the competition side of what we're seeing right now.
Coming back to green after Bill Helmut's stage number 1 was completed. Burt Myers, Bobby Labonte on the front row. They race into turn number 1, and Myers with the lead once again. Look at that battle, though, for third on back. Caleb Heddy in that 7NY grabs the third spot again. Lofton in 4th, but the battle is for 5th. Look at Jonathan Brown in the 24 on the outside. Jonathan Brown moves by Lofton, at least momentarily. Yes, indeed, he does. So that 24 rocketing up to 4th, dropping Lofton to 5th, and Matt Hirschman slips to 6th.
Yeah, you can kind of tell the pace is picking up just a little bit more. So it's all about positioning right now for these guys. Some of them really want to get to the front so they don't lose sight of the leaders, but they also can't wear out the tires. So this track is just unique. It's kind of like the old Myrtle Beach track that a lot of people compare it to as far as abrasiveness. So it's cool to see some of these guys that what their strategy is right now.
It's a mix of finesse and speed, aggression here today, because it's a 0.4 of a mile oval. So it's a lot of speed, but you got to put that egg underneath that loud pedal to save those tires.
Oh yeah, you burn one up here, you're not getting it back. You've got that one tire on that right side that you're going to change later, and they just can't burn it off this quick. So I tell you, they picked up. You can look at the speed right here. We're looking on, the monitors, and the speed's picked up a little bit. So it's gonna get a little bit more interesting as we go. And look, I'll tell you, I walked today, and there's a lot of excitement with everybody in the pits about the race and some of the new guys we have on our series. And I'll be honest with you, man, it's pretty cool to see Newman out here, but it's also cool to see, Jimmy Wallace and Gary Young and, and seeing all the crews that come up that you see. Michael Ellender's not here. I kind of missed that guy. He's supposed to be helping out, and he had some sickness. So, but at the same time, everybody that's here, they're warriors. They're weekend warriors, and I do appreciate seeing them.
Our Flow Racing cameras just faded back to this battle right here. There's Hirschman to the inside of Brown. The 24 still on the outside. That's the way he got the spot. But some really good battles from here on back. Brown's got that 4th spot locked down. 5th is Hirschman behind that. Lofton and Lofton I want to talk about that once this battle is done. Hirschman still sticking his nose to the inside of Jonathan Brown. Just mentioned that car that Jonathan Brown is running, car that won Martinsville last year. Kevin Bono-Mannion built that race car. They bought it in the offseason. A really good ride for Jonathan Brown.
Yeah, I was talking to Buddy Ellis earlier, just talking about, buying that car from Bono and those guys. And, it's a really good race car. He was fast off the truck earlier, and they're really looking forward to how that car competes. Look, this track's the equalizer just because it may not be all motor, and but at the same time, when you got something like that, that's really good race car, you can see what Jonathan's doing. It really, to be honest with you, he's kind of pacing, Hirschman. Yeah, Hirschman ran around him the last lap, but he's kind of, he's going to battle back a little bit, but it's still a game right now. It's not quite to the let's go yet. It's not the go stage.
And I want to talk about the two cars just behind this battle right here. Our Flow Racing camera's doing a great job. But right behind that sits the two Loftons, father and son. The 15, Brian Lofton, an 8-time winner of the Smart Modified Tour. And behind him, his 14-year-old son, Carson Lofton, the 15 and the 23, right behind the battle that we're seeing right now. And what a story between father and son this year on the Smart Modified Tour.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one thing I love seeing the young guys. We got Cody Norman coming next week. And, we have Carson and some other guys coming in. And it's great to see some of the younger generation, because these are Generation 4, Generation 5 that's been in the series for such a long time. It's great to see it. It's great to see the young guys coming in and moving up from 602s. We got Tommy Baldwin's kid, Luke. They put a show on at New Smyrna, and, he's coming too. So, the future's looking bright for the younger guys down here, but also up in North. There's a lot of, guys up there that have a Generation X that's there too. So it's a good mix, between 14 years old and 68 years old, So that's a good thing to see. We got a caution up here of turn 2. I don't know if
Jeremy Gerstner in the 55 will bring out this caution here in the Smart Modified race at Florence Motor Speedway. 43 laps now complete. Not quite yet go time, but of course some strategy too. The big question, and everybody was debating this in the pit area today, when to stop. And just to put it in perspective, last year Brandon Ward stopped late, with 20 to go, and came all the way back to second, almost won it.
Yeah, I think, talking to a bunch of them, that 18 to 25, if a caution comes out, is probably close to the number you really need to use what you want in the race car, to wear the tire down, what I'm saying, for the speed you're looking for. But some people may take it early, and just throttle it, because they don't want to lose position at the end. So, I think that number is between 18 and 25 to get back to where you're going. And it depends on who you're racing at that point, too.
I want to continue to say a big thank you to a lot of our supporters here with the Smart Modified Tour, including CitrusSafe. It's a non-toxic, biodegradable grill cleaner founded in 1997 under the name of Bryson Cleaner. In 2003, they rebranded the name to what we all know today, CitrusSafe. And you can find their products nationwide at stores like Lowe's, Home Depot, and Walmart, as well as many others. Be sure to go check them out for all your grill cleaning needs, or on the web, it's citrussafe.com. That's CitrusSafe, proud sponsor of the Smart Modified Tour Choose Cone. If it's race season, then it's grilling season. You couldn't have asked for a better day weather-wise to start the series this year. Several drivers on pit road right now. Joey Coulter, who we mentioned earlier, had difficulty in qualifying. That car was more sideways than I've seen a modified in a long time. Jason Myers also on pit road. Jeremy Gerstner, who brought out the caution. Jason Myers, Bobby Meismer Jr. in for the second time as well.
Yeah, seeing some of them, swap left side tires, put the left rear in the front. So, that's allowed in our series, even though it's only 5 tires this weekend. So it's interesting to see some of them that's already flipping those on this caution. I'm sure they're trying to wait as long as they can for that right rear. So, strategy and a strategy of what these guys want to do. So it's pretty interesting. And yes, the weather, to be honest with you, there's always a crapshoot, from the standpoint of what it's going to be in the 1st of March. And this year's been unseasonably warm in the south. Of course, when we go to, next weekend, Caraway, it may be 32 degrees, but you never know. And in Lonesome Pine Bar, it's snowing. But at the same time, these guys, you know, when they get in that race car and strap in, they don't really care what the weather is. You know, the fans are the ones that's more, you know, reluctant to come out or to, you know, have layers of clothes on. But you couldn't ask for a better day. And really pleased at everything that Florence and them has provided. You know, we had our new tech center here this weekend. It's really worked out extremely well. Really love that, you know, part of what was going on and working with the racetrack. So, you know, things are changing, looking up for sure.
Just a little bit shy right now, 43 laps into this one of the halfway point, and we will have the Bankers Life halfway leader at that point. Can Burt Myers hold on? Does Bobby Labonte have something? Who knows what's going to happen on this double file restart. 2 laps until we go back to green flag racing here at Florence. Let's go through the top 10 just a little bit, just to remind everybody where everyone is running. Burt Myers is your leader. Bobby Labonte is running in that second spot. Caleb Heddy, who won here 2 years ago, is in third. Last year's winner, Matt Hirschman, in the 60 is fourth, and Jonathan Brown rounding out the top 5. Behind that, it's a pair of Loftons, Brian and Carson, 6th and 7th. Zach Brewer in the Hillbilly Racing ride has moved up to 8th. Ryan Newman all the way from the 16th starting spot to 9th, and Jason Myers in the 4 is 10th. By the way, got to say happy birthday to Gary Myers as well, I believe, here today. So celebrating his birthday, watching modified racing in the South. What's better than that?
It's always great to have another one, that's for sure.
Yes, it is, indeed.
Absolutely.
Pace-O-Matic as part of the Bobby Labonte racing team this year.
Yeah, Bob, I appreciate it. I know, you coming on this year and helping us out. I know, you're a modified guy from up north. You've had a lot of vast history and different broadcasting, and I really appreciate you stepping in. We wish Eric well and everything that he's done, in the past for us. And, he's got a bright future, and, but same sense, modified's where we live, and this is what we love. And I appreciate you coming on and, helping us out this year and, just growing this sport as much as we can.
Blessed to be here. Going back to green. JB throws the green back to racing. 43 laps in of 99. And look at Caleb Heddy. Heddy trying to go for second. Not going to be able to do it, at least not yet. Bobby Labonte with a steam run on the outside. Heddy still down the bottom. Battle for second. 2 by 2 from second on back. Look at the battles we have now in the top 5. Asked Heddy this morning, why are you so good here at Florence? A win 2 years ago, second, last year or 2 years ago. And Caleb Heddy just so good at this racetrack. He said he loves the flat racetracks, and he's got second right now. Move that 7 and wide up to the runner-up spot.
39 got a little smoke coming out there. Right when he lifts, could be coming out of the headers. I'm not sure, but I got to take a look at that. Did it on the backside that time, so I'm looking to see right here if Newman's got a little problem.
Yeah, Ryan Newman currently running in the 9th spot. He does have a little smoke coming out from the back of that race car. We will keep an eye on that. Michael Rich trying to make some moves into the top 10 as well in that red number 11. The former Pro Cup South champion, Matt Hirschman, still lurking back in 4th, and that's what big money Matt Hirschman does. He's like a stealth bomber, waits until the appropriate time and then goes on the attack.
Yeah, he studies everything down to the T, not only how the car works, but what everybody's doing with their race car. And I tell you, if you watch him, everybody else is mid to low coming off. If you ever notice in the middle of the turn, he drives up the racetrack, which is the most unique thing in the world. So he's not, he's not wearing out the front of that race car like a lot of people are, trying to turn it down. And in this juncture in the race, that's all he's doing right now is saving the front end of that car. So later on, those tires is going to work a lot better.
And Hirschman is just behind the battle that we were looking at, but there is the number 39 machine. Take a look at this. We've been seeing some smoke come from the back end of Ryan Newman's machine. Newman just picked off another spot, so he just moved by the 15 of Brian Lofton. How about Carson Lofton having moved by his dad as well? So a lot of position changes at this stage of the game. Carson Lofton now up to 6th. Impressive run for that young kid. Chris, it's been a lot of fun having you on the broadcast. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. Stuff is going to happen here. I think we're going to see a good one at Florence.
Absolutely. I appreciate, y'all invite me up here. It's good to kind of come over here and watch this race and see what's going on in y'all's world. Broadcast looks great. I appreciate Flo and everything that they do for us. And this is going to be a good race at the end, and I appreciate it. Everybody have a good
Thank
afternoon.
you, Chris. We're going to settle in here. Burt Myers and Caleb Heddy at the top of the field, starting to get a little bit closer as we were looking back through the field. There is Heddy. He's ready to go for it. Tommy Baldwin on top of the box here today. That 7NY made famous by the Tiger, Tom Baldwin, out of Long Island, New York. He was a leader of the Long Island gang for so long. And Heddy now out of Kentucky, wheeling this car on the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Looked like he was going to make a move here just about a lap or two ago, and now a little distance between the driver from Walnut Cove, North Carolina, and that 7NY. Carson Lofton is coming. Wow. Look at that young kid showing the prowess beyond his years behind the wheel of a modified. Nobody expected this. We expected big things, but Carson Lofton now has moved into the top 5. Incredible run by that young kid. Jonathan Brown in the 24, now back to 6th. 7th is Ryan Newman. Spoke to him earlier, said what happened in qualifying. He said the car just way too tight. But they purposely did that because they believed this track was going to get more slippery by each lap on it. And now, in this race, think about it, lap 57 of 99, and Ryan Newman is on the charge, trying to pick up another spot to move into 6th on the inside of Jonathan Brown. Give this spot to the Pace-O-Matic 39 of Ryan Newman. Here comes Heddy. Heddy looking good, looking to the outside of Burt Myers in the 1. It's the Citrus Safe car against one of the most infamous cars in all of modified racing, driven by Caleb Heddy. Good battle for the top spot here. By the way, our halfway leader, presented by Bankers Life, Burt Myers. Thank you to Bankers Life for being part of the Smart Modified Tour. Heddy putting on a show. Don't see this often. He could punish his tires on the outside, but he's doing it the hard way around this 0.4 of a mile racetrack, trying to get by Burt Myers. Oh, a little contact down in the corner. Heddy gets the run off of turn number 2. Myers going to have to check up. And now Caleb Heddy to the top of the field here at Florence. Caleb Heddy with 2 wins on the Smart Modified Tour. Burt Myers with 8, but Burt hasn't won since 2004. Now remember, the Smart Modified Tour went away for a while, so there was a big gap where the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour came in. But at the same time, since the Smart Tour came back 3 years ago, he has not won a Smart race. So that driver holding steady right now, leading a bunch of laps here, but now everyone waiting for when that next caution is going to be. 1 tire in the pits, there'll be a lot of strategy that will play out. That advantage now from 1st to 2nd, just about a second between Heddy and Burt Myers. Bobby Labonte runs 3rd, Matt Hirschman in 4th, Carson Lofton, impressive run by that young kid, in 5th. Ryan Newman still in 6th. Jason Myers up to 7th. Jonathan Brown has slipped to 8th. Brian Lofton back to 9th. And Brandon Ward, who came down pit road a while ago, is in 10th. Behind that, Michael Rich is running really well in that number 11 machine. But right now, everybody waiting, seeing if there is going to be another caution to allow them to come in, make changes, maybe swap that tire, and mount a charge late in this race. Hirschman looking to the inside of Bobby Labonte in a battle for third. Well, that's about a half a straightaway behind this battle right here. Labonte starting to slip back a little bit. And Matt Hirschman on the charge, trying to go to the outside, but Labonte has that car on the outside a little bit, as this is the top two on our Flow Racing broadcast. .30 laps to go in this one. Hetty, Myers, the top two that you see right here. Behind that, Labonte, Hirschman, and Lofton. Carson Lofton, not Brian, his father. Carson holding steady right behind Matt Hirschman. And Ryan Newman trying to make a move right behind Carson Lofton. Hirschman goes to third. Matt Hirschman moves up to the third spot with Bobby Labonte slipping back to fourth. There's Lofton in that red 23. Lofton with a win in the Carolina Crates last year at Motor Speedway. Back to the front we go. Caleb Hetty starting to put some drivers a lap down, including Jimmy Wallace. Now that was Jason Tutterow, the team car in the 22. Burt Myers moving to the back bumper of Caleb Hetty once again. Riley Neal a lap down in the 07 as well. We just saw the top two guys pass him. Riley Neal, the son of Tommy Neal, who's won 54 times at Bowman Gray Stadium in the sportsman division. Man, things getting spread out here. Everybody just hoping for a caution, hoping to come down pit road, make those adjustments to the car. Will somebody stay out? Big questions arise here if a caution comes out. There is Lofton approaching Bobby Labonte. Think about it. Carson Lofton is 14 years old. Bobby Labonte, 58. Labonte, former NASCAR Cup Series winner. Labonte, former Brickyard 400 winner and Cup Series champion. Just incredible accolades, but came here to the modifieds and won a couple of times in the past 3 years. Loves modified racing right now and will compete for the championship with his Pace-O-Matic Coca-Cola number 18. A new ride for him this year. By the way, I want to mention Tim Brown in the 25. He was in the ride this year that Bobby Labonte was in last year. Tim Brown being scored back in 20th. Wow. Speaking of Tim Brown, there he is in the 25, the Jerry Hunt Super Center, and he's wheeling it coming off the corner. The Rocket trying to hold on to that race car. There is Joey Coulter in the 02 machine, the Torch Eyewear car, and they are getting put a lap down by Caleb Hetty. So Coulter back in 21st, and Hetty slicing his way through lap traffic here today. Dennis Holdren just in front of him in the 07 machine. Whew, 20 laps to go now. There's Michael Rich in the red 7, one of those cars that will be going a lap down. He was up to 11th a little while ago. The 45 car of Gary Young Jr. Holdren to the inside of Rich. Precarious position right here for Caleb Hetty to be in. Trying to follow Holdren on the inside. Zach Brewer in the 79. Just beyond that, here comes Burt Myers on the outside. Holdren trying to get out of the way, but Hetty was right behind him, and that almost gave up the lead to Burt Myers. 81 laps into this one. 99 laps the total distance, and some mastery driving by Caleb Hetty to get through this lap traffic. Brewer in that 79 now a lap down. Hetty running so well here today. There is Matt Hirschman. Matt Hirschman trying to make his way through the field, but honestly, he's going to need a caution to catch up, I believe, to the top guys here. Lap traffic, part of the game big time now here in this race. Here's Carson Lofton, battle for position on the inside for a moment on the inside of Matt Hirschman. Hirschman goes to the top, Lofton back to the bottom, battling for third here. Lofton trying to get that run up off the corner. Can't do it yet. Neck and neck with one of the best in the business. Matt Hirschman. Lofton's got the preferred groove on the inside and give the spot to Carson Lofton. Incredible run for that driver. He moves up into third. And folks, if you're watching on My Laps right now, a possible problem with the transponder on Carson Lofton's car, not registering right now. But Carson Lofton is right in the thick of things here at this racetrack. Weber slow on the front stretch, does not bring out the caution. Now 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go in this one. That strategy that we talked about this entire race, maybe right out the window. Caleb Heddy is your leader. Second is Burt Myers. Third is Carson Lofton. Fourth is Matt Hirschman in the 60. But Hirschman to his outside again. Zach Brewer, the slower car, a lap down, but in the way. Lofton does not play it right as a 14-year-old, and the savvy veteran gets the job done. Hirschman back up to third. Bobby Labonte still holding down the 5th position. 6th is Ryan Newman. 7th is Jason Myers. We got a spinner in turn number 4. Spinner in 4, Zach Brewer brings out the caution late in this one. Third caution of the race. There have been 3 different leaders, Bobby Labonte, Burt Myers, and Caleb Heddy. So it's Zach Brewer bringing out the caution. Now I'm interested to know what's going to happen. 8 laps to go in this one. Will anybody come down pit road? If you're at the tail end of the lead lap, it's a no-brainer. Come down, make an adjustment, get a tire. Monkey see, monkey do could be the scenario that plays out here. Again, just want to remind everybody, the transponder has gone away on the 23 of Carson Lofton. And because of that, he's not registering on My Laps, but he is right now in the top 5. So as we sort out the scoring here, here's the way we see it from the tower. Caleb Heddy is your leader. Second is Burt Myers. Third, Matt Hirschman. Fourth now, Bobby Labonte. Fifth, Carson Lofton. 6th place, Ryan Newman. 7th, Jason Myers. 8th, Brandon Ward. And they all come down pit road with 8 laps to go. Your leader, Caleb Heddy, getting that right rear tire on that 7NY machine. Matt Hirschman, a right rear tire going on his. Bobby Labonte, Ryan Newman, Everyone getting that fresh right rear for the final 8 laps of the Low Country 99. How about that battle off of pit road? Matt Hirschman is first off of pit road. Caleb Heddy lost 2 spots. So the leader of this race was Caleb Heddy, but he lost 2 spots on pit road. Can he make it up now with 8 laps to go? Surprise, surprise, Matt Hirschman at the top of the heap. Bobby Meismer Jr. in the 14, I believe, will be the wave around car. Burt Myers lost 3 spots as well, so Burt Myers losing some positions. Brandon Ward gained spots in that 2 machine. Brian Lofton went a lap down. You see him pitting right now. Jeremy Gerstner down on pit road as well. It's been a tough day for the Flying Floridian. The restart will look like this. Big money, Matt Hirschman, your leader out of Northampton, Pennsylvania. Corpus Christi, Texas for Bobby Labonte in second. Kentucky for the 7NY of Caleb Heddy. Walnut Cove, North Carolina for Burt Myers. And how about Brandon Ward up into the top 5? Remember, he pitted early, but now that driver out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, will be restarting in the 5th spot. Jonathan Brown in the 24 got the free pass, so he's back on the lead lap. 8 laps to go in this one. And what I like to hear at the drivers' meeting this morning, Jeff Bunton told everybody unlimited attempts at a green-white checker finish. That's what you got to love about the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic. Hirschman, Labonte, the top 2. Heddy, Burt Myers in that 2nd row. 3rd row occupied on the inside by the 2 of Brandon Ward. Jonathan Brown to his outside. Behind that, Ryan Newman, and then Gary Putnam. Carson Lofton, by the way, had some difficulty on pit road, came out way behind just about everybody. Lofton, still on the lead lap, is having a transponder issue. He is not registering on my laps right now. One to go to settle the score at Florence Motor Speedway for the Smart Modifieds. We thank you, everybody, for watching on Flow Racing. We'll be with you all year long, and we're excited about that, to show you this style of racing that we all love so much. Open wheels, 15-inch tires, 600 horsepower, low, sleek bodies of the Mighty Modifieds, the Mod Squad, whatever you want to call them, putting on a show today here at Florence Motor Speedway. the best in the business right now. Matt Hirschman will bring the field back to the green flag. Nice, slow pace. Hirschman fires Labonte to his outside. Caleb Heddy trying to get that second spot by Bobby Labonte. Side by side for second. They go into the corner. Matt Hirschman loves this. He says, you guys wrestle it out. Labonte sideways off the corner. Heddy to second. Labonte tries to throw the block but can't do it. Burt Myers to his inside. Myers up to third. Here comes Brandon Ward as well. Brandon Ward rocketing by that 18 car. Brandon Ward going to move up into fourth and drop Bobby Labonte all the way back to fifth. Oh, got a spinner in turn number one. Bobby Meismer locked up his brakes and saved that car.
Get off the radio. Get off the radio. Get off the radio, guys. When you talk, I can't.
Wow. Bobby Meismer Jr. saw a slower car come up, locked up those brakes and spun the car in turn number one. Did a masterful job to keep that car from hitting the inside retaining wall in turn number one. And how about Bobby Labonte? In that Pace-O-Matic Coca-Cola number 18, started on that front row but lost several spots because he started on that outside road and everybody went to the inside to freight train him. Jonathan Brown behind him. Gary Putnam having a really good run in the 77 car as well. There is Meismer. Doesn't look like any damage to that race car, fortunately. As we mentioned, a good move by Meismer. There's Jason Myers in the 4 machine. He's running in 8th right now. Seven to go in this one. Folks, who thinks big money Matt Hirschman is going to win here today? Some applause right there. How about Caleb Heddy in the 7NY? I'm sure we'll get some reaction from this one. Who wants to see the citrus safe number one of Walnut Cove's Burt Myers go to victory lane here? 4th place last year's top finisher here in the late stages of the race. Pitted late and came up to finish in the top 5. Brandon Ward in that number 2 car. Bobby Labonte there as well in the top 5 late in this race. Folks, remember next week we're going to be in Asheboro, North Carolina next Sunday. Caraway Speedway. Oh, it is so much like Martinsville Speedway. 2 drag strips with 2 corners basically. Tight quartered racing around that half-mile facility in Asheboro, North Carolina. That's next Sunday. We hope you can see us with a smart modified tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. And if not, hopefully you watch on Flow Racing. Here's your top 9 as they stand right now with 7 laps to go. Matt Hirschman in the number 60 machine leads. The 7NY of Caleb Heddy is second. Behind that, it's Burt Myers in the Citrus Safe number 1. The number 2, the Coulter Motorsports machine for the New Day Motorsports machine for Brandon Ward. The 18 of Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte, good-looking yellow and black machine out on the racetrack. Jonathan Brown just behind that. Impressive run for the blue machine, the 77 car of Gary Putnam. Putnam now running in the 7th spot. Ryan Newman right there in the aggressive hydraulics Pace-O-Matic number 39. Joey Coulter Right behind him, and Jason Myers in the number 4. Rounding out what looks to be the cars on the lead lap is the 23 of Carson Lofton, who was into the top 5 prior to the most recent caution prior to this one. This kid is going to be just flat out good. His dad, Brian, used to run that red 23 on the old Smart Modified Tour, the NASCAR Whelen Southern Modified Tour, the old ASA Modified Circuit, the SMRS Circuit, you name it. There's been a lot of iterations of modified racing in the South, but thanks to Chris Williams and his staff, the Smart Modified Tour, powered by Pace-O-Matic, has brought modified racing back to life. The Citra Safe choose cone goes away. Lineup looks like it is going to be set. 1 to go, says Jeff Bunton. Will this have been the final caution of this race, or will we see another 1 or 2? This is where those big old front bumpers can come into play in modified racing. Even on a fast 0.4 of a mile track like Florence Motor Speedway. 2 veterans on the front row when they will fire off of turn number 4, Matt Hirschman and Burt Myers. They head to the Pace-O-Matic restart zone off of turn number 4. It's a tight quartered restart zone. Hirschman fires. Burt Myers is in second. Let's see what Caleb Heddy can do here. Caleb Heddy cannot get up underneath Burt Myers. Myers has not won a Smart Modified race since 2004. Now remember, there was a while when the Smart Modified series went away. It's come back in its modern era the last 3 years. Heddy has finished first and second in the last 2 years here, and now is lurking in third. 5 laps to go. 5 to go for Matt Hirschman. Can he win his 5th race in a row this year? 4 wins at New Smyrna. The 5th one kind of rained out. They gave him the victory, but we only count 4. So this would be his 5th consecutive win if he holds on for the final 4 laps. There is Caleb Heddy running for the championship this year. So is Burt Myers. Myers holding down that 2nd spot. 4th is Brandon Ward. 5th now is Jonathan Brown, with Bobby Labonte outside the top 5. Yellow flag comes out. We got one going around. It's Tutterow in turn number 4. Six cautions have slowed this race in the low country. 99 today at Florence. One more shot for Burt Myers. One more shot for Caleb Heddy. And then there's Brandon Ward back there. He is a savvy veteran out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Can Brandon Ward be aggressive here on this next restart? Brandon Ward, 3 wins in the Smart Modified Tour. Now running right in the thick of things. Here's your top 10 as we know it right now. Matt Hirschman in the 60 leads over Burt Myers in the 1. Caleb Heddy is in that third spot in the 7NY. That's that black and red machine. Behind that, the white, black, and orange car, the 2 of Brandon Ward. Rounding out the top 5, the 24 of John Boy Jonathan Brown. Just outside now the top 5 sits the Pace-O-Matic number 18 of Bobby Labonte, and another Pace-O-Matic car just behind that for Flying Ryan Newman. Former USAC star, former NASCAR star turned SRX racer, and now modified racer here in the South. Ryan Newman behind that, good run for the 77 of Gary Putnam. Putnam being scored in the 8th right now. And then the other Myers boy, Jason Myers, in the black number 4 behind that. Here is the Citrus Safe restart cone. Where will everybody go? Myers chooses the outside. Basically everybody choosing as they run for this restart. Two laps to go until we see another Pace-O-Matic restart off of turn number 4. A very tight zone, just to let you know if you're sitting in the grandstands, if you see that tire at the beginning of pit road, that's where the Pace-O-Matic restart zone starts, and the white line is where it ends. A driver, the leader, must fire within that area. Fans, get on your feet. This restart might be interesting here going into turn number 1 at Florence. Since I said, was that our last caution, we've had 2 more. Who knows what's going to happen here now with 4 laps to go. See Matthew Dillner on the flag stand with J.B. Cole. Approaching the Pace-O-Matic restart zone off of turn number 4. Hirschman, Myers, they fire. Myers with a little wiggle. That allows Caleb Heddy to the inside. Heddy trying to get by Burt Myers for second, but Myers has got the run on the outside. Myers with a good run, but here comes Caleb Heddy. Won here 2 years ago. Caleb Heddy very strong in the 7NY. Behind that, Brandon Ward, and side by side for 4th as well between Jonathan Brown and the 18 of Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte slips up now. The team cars, Labonte and Ryan Newman side by side for 2nd as well. Here comes Caleb Heddy. Heddy to the inside. Myers is sideways. They bang tires off the corner. Heddy gets the 2nd. 2 laps to go this time by. Caleb Heddy now in 2nd. But is he running out of time to close the door on Matt Hirschman? Now white flag in the air. 1 lap to go in the Low Country 99 for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Heddy is 2nd, 3rd is Myers, 4th is Ward, 5th is Jonathan Brown. Big money. Matt Hirschman will win the first race of 2023 for the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic. Impressive stealth-like run for the Northampton, Pennsylvania driver. Everyone on Mud Lane rejoicing once again. His father, a 5-time NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour champion, a national champion, and now his son wins again for the 7th time in his last 9 Smart Modified races. Impressive performance by Matt Hirschman. Folks, what did you think about that one? Test, test, test. 2. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. One, two, 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Can you hear me? Test 1, 2, 1, 2. Test 1, 2, 1, 2. Awesome. Matt Hirschman goes back to back in the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic here at Florence. Another stealth-like performance for big money. Matt Hirschman, he gets the Pace-O-Matic towel on his shoulder. Matt, how hard was that one to pull off?
Well, it was real difficult until the caution with 7 to go. So that was rather timely. That worked out real well for us. So, you know, sometimes, you know, that's the racing game. You know, we needed that at that point, obviously, to give ourselves a chance. I didn't think it would get down to that low without a caution. And not that I had anything for the top two, but they had such a gap that I couldn't even close the gap. So they, you know, they had me covered. You know, we were looking at a third, maybe fourth. That Lofton kid's got a bright future. You know, good racing with him there in lap traffic, but he was clean and respectful, and he got me, I got him back, and you know, but yeah, we needed that obviously, and the guys killed it in the pits. Great pit stop. Just you know, owe it to them. You know, good performance. Like I said, I think it proved we weren't the car to beat today, from practice to qualifying to the race. But sometimes just figure out a way.
Coming off a pit road first, definitely. I want to know though, because we talked about this earlier today, a lot different weather-wise from last year to this year. So the setup's completely different on this race car from one year to another.
It just seemed like the track was different, but again, I only raced here one time ever. Some of these other guys, more of them have run like 4 or 5 times. So, you know, yeah, I didn't have a lot to go by, but my confidence definitely dropped a lot after practice. I maybe came in a little too overconfident, but we got another win, and we'll just, I appreciate everybody on the team, and I like racing with the Smart Modified group and Pace-O-Matic and all the people that are a part of this. I really enjoy it. I won't race with them all the time, but anytime we do, it's an enjoyable trip, and I don't mind the miles on the highway when you're looking forward to going places with these guys, and we're a good team, so we got some wins too.
When are we going to see you back now?
I mean, it could be as soon as a week, or it could be weeks. I really don't know. We take them one at a time, but this is where it's at in March. Just like in February, it's at New Smyrna and for the World Series. In March, it's with the Smart Modified Tour, and then April, things really open up in the Northeast, and we'll pick and choose, but we'll pick a few more Smart races. I think we enjoy it.
How about this? Think about Matt Hirschman, 5 wins. He took 4 checkered flags down in New Smyrna. How about this for number 5 on the season for Matt Hirschman? And now the Smarty Trophy being presented to Matt Hirschman.
And I do want to say hi to my son at home. I don't like going to the races without him, but unfortunately now he's in school, so he didn't make this trip. So hi to my parents and my son Matthew. We'll see you tomorrow.
very big in the Hirschman family out of Northampton, Pennsylvania. Thank you. Here's like being down here and getting that Smarty trophy. One more time for Matt Hirschman in victory lane once again for the 9th time in his career in the Smart Modified Tour. Caleb Heddy, good run here today. You continue your streak of top 2 finishes, but I can see by that face you're a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, we're a lot of bit disappointed. Easily had the fastest car here today. Kind of ran away with it all the way up until I got 90, I think it was. Those last 5-6 cautions didn't even come out. It would have been leisurely driving it home. But this car was good. Can't thank Tommy Baldwin Racing enough for the car. Huge thanks to Pace-O-Matic, Smart Tour, everybody puts this on, and Flow Racing for covering this.
Live pit stops can get you sometimes, and that seemed to be what got you tonight. I know you tried to charge hard there late in the race, but it was a difficult task for sure.
Yeah, we got caught up with just one car entering his pit stop. I feel from the crew we were perfect. For me, getting on and off was pretty good. We just had one car in our way, couldn't clean them off. It's kind of surprising that they got off before us, but that's how it goes sometimes. We'll take it all to Caraway and get ready to win one more.
Winner there as well. Looking forward to Caraway.
Yeah, man. The Caraway is really fun. I like the way the place races. You can really drive, really race hard there. So I'm very excited. We're going to a racetrack, man. I don't care where it's at. We're going to a racetrack, so we're going to race. I'm very excited.
Caleb Heddy, next Sunday will be at Caraway Speedway in Asheboro, North Carolina. We hope to see you there. We're also going to get a word right here with Burt Myers. Burt led a bunch of laps here on a greasy racetrack, but it's spelled out with a Z, but just a little bit short here today. An outside groove for that final restart might have bit you.
Yeah, well, it helped me on the one before. We were just way too free center off. I just couldn't get the drive I needed. The last restart, it spun from here to Turnersville. We were off just a little bit. I told you earlier, we had a good long run car, and the 7 was a little better than us on the long run. I think he had everybody beat. It messed our pit strategy up by not being able to roll lefts with that late caution. We missed, by the choice of pit selection, they had all the premier spots picked by the time I got to pick, and that's the 3 cars that beat me out. But I don't know that that was a factor, but we just missed it just a little bit. We had a great car.
I know you want to get back to victory lane. Haven't won in a while in the Smart Modified Series. But today, this momentum to start the year in the championship, what do you think of that?
Well, whenever we got into this PSR chassis, our momentum changed. So from when we got into this car to the end of last year to now, we were kind of talking about you ride here, but you ride but you don't. I don't know how to explain that unless you've ever driven a race car in a racetrack like this. I was trying to be easy on the tires, but also trying to set the pace at the same time. And the 7 had the same strategy, and I think that we were first and second had that stayed green. So it's tough, on a track like this, because you want to go, but you can't. But the momentum's there. I think we're really happy where we're at. I think we're just this much off from being able to capitalize. But thanks to Flo and to Pace-O-Matic and Smart, Florence, the fans, this thing's growing. It's going places, man.
Burt Myers Speedway Day, and will be a threat for victory lane there as well. Folks, this was great. Matt Hirschman, he's just a special thing in modified racing right now. Jimmy Blewitz, who is a racer up in the Northeast, he said a couple of weeks ago, there's nobody better than Matt Hirschman right now. He's the modern era Richie Evans, and Richie Evans was a 9-time champion, national champion of modified racing. But Matt Hirschman, to do what he's doing, 55 wins in the ROC circuit, 5 wins in the NASCAR Willa Modified Tour, now a 9-time winner here in the Smart Tour, and so many others as well, from local modified racing to what we see on touring racing. Hirschman is like a stealth bomber. He attacks at the end of the race and he did so again here today at Florence Motor Speedway. Right now, he's the best in the business, and we enjoyed watching him here on Flow Racing. Still plenty of racing still coming up here at Florence Motor Speedway, but for Chris Williams and everybody at the Smart Modified Tour powered by Pace-O-Matic, I'm Bob Dillner, and we can't wait to see you next week at Caraway Speedway, next Sunday in Asheboro, North Carolina.
Race fans, as we get our modified winner Matt Hirschman off to victory lane, we've still got more racing action here for you today at Florence Motor Speedway. Mini stocks, Legends cars, Chargers, more great classes coming your way. Congratulations, Matt Hirschman, and the homecoming race for PD Motorsports out of Cheraw, South Carolina, securing the win. Hirschman was a dominant driver at New Smyrna Speedway during the World Series of Asphalt and put on a great show grabbing the victory here for the Southern Modified Auto Racing Tour. We got the legend, we got one legend car, Lizzie Welch. She had an accident in qualifying and will go back out with her backup car, essentially. And they're going to make a few laps just to get the thing shaken down, make sure nothing is amiss on that backup car, and get the setup right. And we will continue. We will have mini stocks next, followed by the Legends car class. Both